You wanted to.
My God, that's 20, 25 years old, and people can still just say all those lyrics like, "Oh yeah,"
just
goodness.
So grab a bush and put a little makeup, my guy. That's all you gotta do.
Why are you bringing the angels into this? Just put the makeup on and wake up. You don't need to call down Sephiroth to.
Who put the keys on the table? Because they wanted to.
This is what happens when you do a review at 8 in the morning instead of your regular scheduled time. This is what you're getting
Bro,
today.
Loopy, Mikey's in his NPR after hours voice. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Today, we're talking about wrestling.
I'm in my ASMR.
There you are. That's what
like
it
era.
is. You make money on that. Yeah.
He's over here. Guys, this is how WWE works. Scratch.
I'm LA Knight. I'm LA Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, all you PC WrestlePod nerds out there, and welcome to an extra smooth jazz edition of the Friday Night Faction Review, your weekly WWE Friday Night SmackDown review team. I am your host, Mikey, bringing you all the sounds of the percussion and the brass instruments. Just playing sexy saxophone somewhere.
Coming up at 3, we'll have our classical hour, and at 4, an interview with local author so-and-so. Talking about, oh my God.
I love it so much.
There's me and John in the background. Because I wanted to.
And then I have, and joining me as always is my hype man for the Friday Night Faction Review. First and foremost, you can find him on the Dynamite reviews as well as here, the Professor. We got a busy week starting this upcoming week because Forbidden Door season is upon us.
This was a great SmackDown.
Holy crap!
And we talk about this every week. If you watch SmackDown like a soap opera, it's different than a wrestling show. This had everything. And I don't want to give away my empanada yet, and we'll talk about it. Maybe it'll wax and wane, but this is one of the higher empanada scale ratings that we've had in the first half of the year, because we're just now over that 6 months, hey, there's a whole other year left. We saw storylines get tied up. We saw things happening, stuff that we've been calling for a long, long time. We had some surprises. We had a bait and switch. We had a murder, which is always fun.
We had a couple murders.
We've had some murders the last few weeks here on WWE. So
apparently, Simon Miller is keeping a crime counter out.
I heard he's looking at
I saw that, and it ended with like 22 or something like that so far.
I mean, we said this at the beginning of the year. We're back in the Attitude Era. We're back in the, I don't want to say purely Attitude Era. We'll name this era after it's happened, right? The way that scholars do. But whatever era we're in, it's a throwback to, okay, we're going to go edgy but walk the line. We're still sort of throwing storylines out there randomly. Paul Heyman is still the best actor on the roster. Like, oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
Paul Heyman,
incredible.
I love it. And then, of course, it is incredible stuff. And then, of course, joining us is El Mini.
Because I wanted to.
He's going to be he's going to be our intrusive thought. I'm just kidding.
I am the intrusive thoughts. What do you mean? I'm the one that you have to edit out the first minute every single time. Because every time we normally start recording, I normally start with the fuck.
Well, there we go. Hey, we made it to almost 4 minutes.
We're past a minute. I waited. We're 4 minutes in.
What a gimmick that would be. The intrusive thought just walks out there, puts you into a move, and then just your mom doesn't like you, and then pins him. Oh, that would be so funny.
That's Minnie's new moniker instead of the Prodigy. It's the intrusive thought.
I think that's how Uncle Howdy is going to pin people. He's just going to say stuff that scares him.
He's got him by the neck. Here he goes, south of heaven. Your poetry is trash. No.
That is a great one-shot character.
Rhea Ripley doesn't like you. Dominic gets pinned.
Mommy doesn't like you. No.
Oh, that man. The fact that they're all fighting over that man with a mullet just makes me cry inside.
Well, that tells us that we should probably start growing mullets and have.
I wanted a mullet back in '93, and my mom said no, because
I think what we're gonna do is we should all buy one of those buy a prop mullet and just wear it on these reviews.
Man, that mullet day, have a mullet day, that'd be fantastic. I go to the gym, they're everywhere. They're spreading. They're just mullets as far as the eye can see.
Mullets, pit vipers, and jean shorts so short you see the pockets.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and that's 1989.
I think I just found I think we just came up for our costume for whoever has the worst record by the end of the year in
Oh
WWE.
no, that's the punishment. You have to go out in a mullet with booty shorts. Okay.
The
Or
funny
on this
thing is,
review.
I would do that even if I didn't win.
That's
Like,
the problem
if I
with
won or
you guys.
died, it doesn't matter.
It
To
doesn't
me.
matter
Like,
what we
that
come up
sounds
with
dope
because
to
Some of
everyone
us
would be game.
has
We
no
have
shame, so we're totally fine with a chunk of this.
We'll figure something
I
out.
would
But
definitely that and a fanny pack and a boombox. Come on.
bringing it back, just like I'm gonna bring about this review because we kick off this Smackdown. We are in Chicago, so I already knew things were gonna get buck wild because every time we're in Chicago, it doesn't matter the wrestling company, things always go sideways, whether on screen or behind the scenes. But we start off very strong because the savior of Chicago, or at least that's what the fans call him. We start with CM Punk coming down to the ring and cutting the typical CM Punk "I'm in Chicago" promo. Be like, it's great to be here. I love the city. You know, the last time he was in Chicago, as commentary mentioned, was the fact when he came back at Survivor Series last year in November, which doesn't seem that long ago, but it feels like a lifetime ago.
Yeah, because if you figure
he came back, did like the Royal Rumble, and then disappeared.
Because there was
Injuries.
the Wembley incident, and then just a few months later, walks into WWE.
Survivor
Yeah.
Series, yep.
Wow.
But, you know, Punk
Wembley.
is here, and then he is interrupted by the best actor, as the professor has said, in all of WWE right now, Paul Heyman, who is literally like a child, be like, take me with you, basically, because he wants Punk to get out of there. He's friends with Punk. He loves Punk. He wants him to leave before the Bloodline come in and start messing with him, but then too late because the weekday shows
the
up.
weekday, and it's almost like he's leaning on that weekday moniker. It's a little
love
more every single time.
So when his hair starts getting real poofy, that's when you know
I'm
he's
still waiting
there.
for that Super Bowl mirror entrance where he just walks through and just can't find his way out.
I just need him to come in with like the bandage on his nose.
This was a hell of a way to start the show. Of course, CM Punk's going to kick it off because we're in Chicago. Chicago fans are great. I love that it's an international incident now, the way that CM Punk put it, because it's now Chicago versus Glasgow, which if you've been to the UK, Glasgow is the Chicago of the UK. Like, that's the type of fans, that's the working class folks. They're passionate about the things they're passionate about. If you're an outsider, we hate you, but if you're one of us, we love you, sort of feel. CM Punk is just such a natural on the mic. So smooth. And you talk about CM Punk a lot of ways, and there are still wrestlers who don't want to work with CM Punk. You have to respect that he's so good and charismatic in this sort of I'm breaking away kayfabe, you're not sure what's real and what's not, I'm just going to speak truthfully every time thing, which really pays off. Excuse me. The moment Paul walks out and they're chanting ECW, and like immediately he's already crying walking to the ring, like he's already emotionally charged to get to this moment to talk to his quote unquote best friend. I like the storyline of this. I like where we're going, not to pick the whole thing apart just yet. I think this is what we needed in the Bloodline. We needed this sort of alternate universe of evil Bloodline, and now we're leaning on it more and more and more. And then we'll talk about how it popped at the end. Yeah, nothing this made me watch. Normally, we've watched so much wrestling over the last few years. It's very easy, and I don't know if you two feel the same way. A lot of times, these promos, you kind of tune out because they're literally an ABC format. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say my intro line. I'm going to say this line about the city. I'm going to say this line about my opponent. I'm going to look to the camera and make a joke. And then they repeat it. I'm going to say this line about the city. I'm going to say this line about my opponent. Right? But this was so refreshing in a way. I'm in. I'm in on the soap opera.
What?
Then
like, I don't know how I feel about this. I feel like we were talking about me and Professor for a minute. We're like, man, we're so tired of this Bloodline storyline shit. And then here comes all this good shit. And we're like, okay, now we're bought into this shit.
Well, they had to fix it, right? Because they had 10 months of what are we doing? You were to have 20-minute entrances so you could fight with your cousin. Why? And they did that week after week after week, right? They didn't do anything new with it. They let it stall out and get stagnant because they wrote themselves into a corner for so long. You're absolutely right. And now we're, a year and a half later, like we called for, which I think Mikey was calling for in the beginning. Give it to Solo, let Solo run with it. and see where it goes. Because I'll say this carefully, I like Roman Reigns, Joshua as a person. He kind of gets done dirty the way he's promoted and the way he's used and the way he's just not there actively. If that's because he's undergoing treatment, if that's because it's an energy thing or family thing or life and money thing, that's totally fine. You make your money, you do with it how you want to do it. But he tends to come back and they kind of have to force a storyline around Roman the same way they would do with Brock, the same way they were doing kind of with CM Punk for a while. Like, just, we got to get a storyline, we got to go. Now we have a consistency. And the writing for it and creative is pushing it. I mean, Triple H is pushing all the right buttons for this one.
And this was a perfect segue because as the Bloodline stormed the ring to go on to take Punk, I also want the new shirt that WWE dropped, the Second City.
Oh yeah,
Saint.
That was a gorgeous shirt.
I'm like, damn it! Now I gotta find a way to get that shirt. Cody Rhodes jumps the barricade for all intents and purposes and brings in. Cody Rhodes becoming in his Homelander era, like bringing in baseball bats. I was like, holy. Oh, Cody means business tonight. And so he tells Solo that, hey, you know what? Let's have a match later tonight. So in our main event, it's going to be Cody versus Solo Sikoa in the main event of SmackDown. This was a really great way to open up SmackDown this week.
This is like, they got a lot better when it comes to opening shows. You know, used to just come out, insert heel faction here, come out. We own this show. This is our show. You know, we're gonna wreck everybody. And then here comes exit other faction. It's like, nah, you guys suck. And then it's a match.
They had a little bit of that with Paul Heyman's like, oh, Chicago's a CM Punk town, and Solo thinks that every town is his town. It's like, okay, fine, you could throw that out there, I guess. Do you see CM Punk react to the bat that Cody brought in? Because he holds it up and he's like, it's a big bat.
I didn't
know. The funny thing is they showed I saw some behind the scenes of like when they were leaving, and then it cuts to like CM Punk chasing Cody with the bat.
Oh really?
you see CM Punk at the bat like this, and Cody's just like, oh.
I went and got a massive like 35-inch Major League bat instead of, I'll say this, a Chris Jericho bat, which is not that.
It's a wiffle ball bat,
basically.
It's like, oh, you can cause cranium damage.
Yeah.
With this
Sting had kind of a stickball bat, which I respect because that would still hurt. Chris Jericho's obviously using a wiffle ball bat. These two used like Louisville, I bought this down by the stadium bat. Great way to open.
This was a great way to open. Which then we also don't waste no time because we're like, all right, we got that out of the way. Let's get on with the rest of the show because backstage we have Bianca and Jade talking. Bianca's in Gorilla. She's getting ready to come on out. Jade comes up to her. They still have a rematch for their tag titles, which they might invoke in some capacity. But both Jade and Bianca are focusing on their Money in the Bank, qualifying matches, which then has Bianca come on out. And we get into, I'm pulling an Andrew here. We get our first match of the evening. This is a women's Money in the Bank qualifier. We have Bianca Belair versus Michin versus Chelsea Green. But before we get into the match itself, we have Bianca's entrance. We go to commercial. We come back and we have a backstage segment with Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens, where Randy and Kevin tell Cody, hey, if you need backup, like, we got you. And Kevin Owens, again, being smart, is like, bro, the Bloodline always has something up their sleeve. And Cody's like, I have a plan. I'm like, do we though?
Yeah.
Like,
he says he has a plan. Doesn't tell anybody the plan.
I mean, I play D&D that way because I'm horrible. By the way.
I'm the same way. It actually recently just fucking.
And I've had people text me during games like, tell me your plan. I'm trying to help you. Don't worry, I got this. And then I just botch it. Which we'll discover Cody kind of did. He didn't have a plan.
Unless he's playing the long game, and we'll get into
that. He did have a plan. It just
he didn't have a plan.
It got foiled by by what we'll talk about in the main event.
Anyway,
we're gonna put a pin in that.
The backstage segments were super solid this week. Nothing was rushed. Nothing was out of place. Nobody I don't know if they're riffing or they're actually learning their lines. It seems like Cody's on script a lot. Like he's doing the I was in LA for a year actor thing. I'm memorizing. Really clean. Really great way to start.
So now we can get into our actual match. This was really solid.
Great.
This was all three women did really great in this match.
What was surprising to me, and we'll talk about the end result in a second. I don't want to get too far ahead. The promo with Bianca and Jade kind of hinting at dissension, right? But we're going to get the tag fight. We're going to get our match back. Yeah. I'm focusing on this now. We're going to do this, right? We're just seeing the illusion of a crack, not even the beginning of it. But for me, it was, we're going to go into this match and Bianca is going to clean house and she's going to qualify. And I am so glad that's not what happened. And I love me Bianca Belair. And that's nothing against her, but they chose correctly, in my opinion. They went for a better storyline and opportunity, which sets them both up. Because now there's a reason for the dissension in the ranks between Bianca and Jade. And now there's a reason for me to watch Money in the Bank because I don't know what's going to happen. Very excited.
No. What I love, what it seems that Money in the Bank is doing this year is that it's going to be, honestly, the way I view Money in the Bank, like we talked about last year during the review for last year's, I always view Money in the Bank as like, these are potentially the stars that are going to be in the main front of this upcoming year. So like looking at last year, we had Liv and Io and all of them. And then in the men, Damian Priest, Finn Balor, and just all the other people that were involved. And I love the choices that we're making of who's going into the matches. Like for the women we have Io, and then we also now have Chelsea in this match. I'm just like, Io makes sense. She was Miss Money in the Bank last year, so it makes sense to have her in there. I'm excited to see who else we put in there, but this was a really great match, and I love that Chelsea won this.
Yeah.
I was like, finally, homegirl.
I like is like Chelsea. It like comes in and like throws a punch and then gets her ass kicked and then comes in and then does the same thing again and then does it again and then next thing you know,
she plays her comedic
professional wrestling.
Yeah, she plays her comedic heel role very well, but Chelsea also has the skills to back it up. Like when she and Bianca and Michin were all in the corner off the top and then just like, bam. I'm like,
something really funny about the way the end of this goes. I think it's tough that Michin took the pin, but Chelsea just going in there, grabbing Bianca, throwing Bianca off of her and stealing it.
I love that we're doing this again.
It's so simple and
it's so disrespectful. I love it.
Part of you is like, there's no way that's going to work. But then it does. And then you have that camera shot and you have Bianca Belair. They're like, fuck, did this really just happen?
There like, really? She's like, damn, man.
I think it's great. I'm excited for her. Particularly coming off of Clash at the Castle, how funny all that was.
She was also funny too. Getting ejected, coming back in a mask.
I think she's gonna make that match a lot of fun to watch. So I'm excited.
Oh, absolutely. So, somebody was keeping their eye on this match because we go backstage where throughout the match we saw Bayley looking at the television, which I'm glad that they put the television in front of her and not like where we can see the match happening.
I'm so glad.
Like, this is
Thank you for speaking to that. We didn't do the fake green screen 45. Like, obviously, I loved that. I hope they do that more.
The only person who made that work was Biggie because he broke the fourth wall. It's like, this is stupid. I'm going to do all the dumb things. Like, he was eating popcorn and then he had a whole meal while watching it.
So funny.
It was ridiculous. But Bayley was watching this match backstage. Again, they put the TV in front of her, which is like, that is exactly what you do. And I love the tease that we got here because coming into frame next and telling Bayley is Blair Davenport, who makes her intentions known that when she wins Money in the Bank, she's coming after Bayley with that title. So she's like, you forget about your little friend. You can forget about Nia Jax because once I win this briefcase, I'm going to be coming after you. So I love that we're teasing like Bayley now that she's champion. Again, she's a target for everyone now. Once you're champion, that target becomes
Davenport looking like a 2002 girl that ruined your life, straight out of Hot Topic. Like,
she looked Afro.
Man, she walked out and I was like, I know you. I mean, I don't know you, but I know. I have all my friends looked exactly like you for 3 years. Incredible.
I'm excited, and we'll talk about it when we get to the bumpers, but she has her qualifying match next week, which I'm super excited about. So then we go backstage where we get a Soprano-esque scene because Paul Heyman is not looking at Solo Sikoa whatsoever, is not getting eye contact, and Solo is like being intimidating and telling him, it's like, I need you to go tell the Tonga twins that they You need to take care of Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. And Paul Heyman's like, you're talking to me? It's like, yes, I'm talking to you. I'm like, this is where we going with this, and I'm okay with it. This is what I wanted from Solo. I'm like, he still needs to work better when it comes to the acting chops.
He's got to breathe. If he can get his breath under him, he's feeling what he's feeling. He's making the eye contact. Take that breath. I know time is of the essence. I know they say 30-second spot, 40-second spot. I get it. You still got to breathe through it, though. And once he figures that out, he's gonna be right up there with all these other fantastic promos that we hear and see and watch. This is where we wanted it to go. This is terrifying. They wrote themselves into a corner for about a year, and now we're actually seeing, a reason for this Sopranos thing. There's a reason for this. I mean, we're not quite Santos in an Olive Garden, but we're now like in an actual, like, there's a reason to watch this.
I forgot about
how
that.
could you forget? Hello, we're here behind in the back room of this Olive Garden to talk about how we hate Rey Mysterio. I'm excited.
Pass me a breadstick.
Breadstick. Not that one. So it's great. And Paul Heyman's still showing that he's the actor of the bunch. He's been doing this for so long. If he was not in WWE, my God, you could put him in as a day player in any Dick Wolf, Law and Order, Chicago Fire style show and just be, hey, be sad uncle, be sad dad, be failed this, be homeless that. And he would just character actor the hell out of that. So good.
Be hopeless.
That
We love you, Paul.
We love Paul Heyman
you.
in this household. Honestly, one of the greatest actors in wrestling right now. So good.
I love this new bloodline thing, you know? Bunch of scary Samoans being scary Samoans. We love it.
That's what they want to do. Like, hey, I don't need this. I don't need this. I don't need this. Let me go be scary. Yeah, go.
Dude, the dichotomy of the Samoans in WWE right now. You have the really scary Samoans and you have Yeet.
It is. You have the scary Samoans on SmackDown, and then you have Mr. Yeet in the bank, who is... Congratulations to Jey Uso, by the way, because he is the official superstar on the poster for Money in the Bank.
That's going to be interesting.
Yep. And he definitely doesn't want those fireflies anymore.
No.
Refer back to our Raw review for that one.
Oh my gosh, that was so funny. He's like,
dude, do you see that they're going after Pat McAfee now?
Yeah, they shut down his show earlier in the week. Like, they did the whole thing. I'm just
he
like,
said, oh yeah, that wasn't them. And they just go, you lied. Legit, that's what they said.
If they do a murder on the Pat McAfee show, how cool would that be?
Every single show this week on WWE has had the most insane moment that has popped the internet. You had the Wyatt 6 on Raw. Joe Hendry broke WWE's internet with his debut in NXT.
What we're about to talk about here on SmackDown has been getting on the promo. To the
main event, like, holy crap. Well, there were two major things that happened this show. We witnessed scary Samoans being scary Samoans, but next up we witnessed the homicide on our television screen.
This is the one.
Right before we get into that, you guys remember Jimmy Wang Yang? This is such a weird topic, but I saw this last night and I had to talk about it. Jimmy Wang Yang, y'all remember him from early 2000s? His daughter just made her debut for Major League Wrestling.
Oh, MLW.
Yeah, he was there, still wearing the cowboy hat and everything.
Oh my! Some things just never die.
That's probably around the time I stopped watching, but I know who that is. Jeez.
Yeah,
he had such a pretty moonsault.
Yeah. That he did. Alrighty, so before we get into the murder that happened in Chicago, first and foremost, we see Grayson Waller backstage talking about how he lost, everything that is happening. And what this is going to do, with it. And Grayson Waller is just like, yeah, it kind of sucks what happened to Austin Theory, but I got to focus on this. DIY come into frame. They start an argument. There's like the shutters behind them begin to shake like craziness. And then the shutters go up and we witness a crime scene in front of us because CM Punk bloodied on the ground and the Scottish psychopath, Drew McIntyre. And I called this shit on Raw and go back to that review because that's what I predicted, and I'm happy to be right. But Drew McIntyre standing above Punk. Let me just tell you, this shot was beautiful. First and foremost, you just see Drew McIntyre staring, but then the continual shot where Drew McIntyre picks up Punk, puts him in a fireman's carry, and just like slowly walks him through the backstage area to the ring. As you catch, I love this perfectly. Nobody was like, oh my gosh, we need to go get somebody. Everyone's just like, clutching their pearls. It was quiet. Like, even the heels were like, I'm not gonna mess with this. They just stared and watched as Drew carried a bleeding CM Punk, goes through backstage, goes through gorilla position, comes to the ramp, and just plops this man in front. This was cinema. This
Then he
was,
tore a bracelet off of him.
and then he took a bracelet off. A friendship
It was a
bracelet.
bracelet that had his wife's name and somebody else's name on it.
Oh, this is getting personal, and I love this. But
It was brilliant.
this was
It
amazing.
was theater. It was theater. There was this exposition moment. There was this rising action. There was this reveal, this huge climax moment. We had a falling action. We had this fake resolution. We had this Dana Mama. Like, whoever scripted and kind of loosely planned that, they nailed it. What a great camera shot. You're absolutely right. They used the ramp and the light and the thing. I'm pretty sure this guy who went to film school and was like, oh my God, now I have a TV job. And now he was finally I could do some cinema, which was great. Since Paul Levesque has come into creative, the camera angles and camera shots are so much better. Whoever's in charge of calling that from the booth or running that, so good. Because one of the things that you could credit the Attitude Era with changing in wrestling were stuff like this sort of long shots, single shots, moving from here to here to here. The action never stops. You're relying on your performers to catch it live, and it just kind of keeps them in the moment longer. They hit their marks as in where to stand and where the camera's at. They probably loosely rehearsed this, maybe? I don't know. But they nailed it. Terrifying.
Yeah, we didn't have 1,500 jump cuts.
Yes, they didn't do the Michael Bay thing where they went and just hack up a fight scene. Like, I hate that. As a fight choreographer, that stuff drives me nuts. I want to see it happen.
But yeah,
Drew McIntyre shoving Nick.
That was also a beautiful moment too. I'm
Dude.
just like, Nick, take the suit off and get your butt in the ring. We need a match.
You know the funny thing is, you know why he did this?
Because he wanted to.
Yes, bringing it
I
around.
walked right into that. I had no chance.
I saw
like,
leaning
I
huh?
think, damn it. He hit Nick Aldis like, oof, you heard it through.
Owed him lunch
Boom.
money.
And then you saw Nick think about it for a hot second. Like, no, it's not my job anymore. But man, how wild would that be to see Nick Aldis come back just to, now that he's a different character and involved as a performer. Whew, that'd be cool.
Look, we have seen on multiple other folks in multiple other promotions. It doesn't matter if you're general manager, HR, whatever. Y'all is literally, we have HR and Dynamite come up and beat up talent from time to time. And let's be real, Nick Aldis can still go. Like, that suit is barely.
I don't know why. I mean, sorry, sidebar. You don't have to answer this here. Was there a reason he kind of stepped back and retired? Was it an injury thing or?
No, he can still go because it wasn't even that long ago. He was having baller matches in TNA, and then they're like, "Hey, he's always wanted to go into WWE," and so he's in the general manager because he is a man of a certain age.
Do you think they're they're hinting at that? Could this be a thing?
Look, if Ace Steel can have a street fight on TNA this week against Frankie Kazarian, like, you can have Nick Aldis be fighting Drew McIntyre and other folks.
It doesn't even have to be a match. If it's just a Nick Aldis gets involved and then
a brawl is
rocks
some
a chair.
Like, literally, if we could have Scrap Daddy, Adam Pearce get bullied on Raw from time to time, like,
sure,
we know both of them can still go.
Oh, how cool would that be? And not to wax poetic or nostalgic or anything like that, but when you were at peak Vince Stone Cold era, like, there's something about that was like, I'm gonna stick it to the boss, and now you're inverting it in, hey, this is someone who actually cares about the people. And I don't know, the international incident is amazing to me, and it's working. Normally these things don't work, and now they've done enough infrastructure to just tell the story to where it's Chicago versus Glasgow. Whew.
You got Chicago versus Chicago with knives.
Well, that's
That's very fair.
Chicago with knives.
But not only do we get Drew shoving Nick Aldis, but when we come back from commercial, everyone was still silent as we saw Punk get in the ambulance too and be carted off. I'm just like,
yeah,
I might be putting this as some of my favorite like promos segments of the year when we get to the ear end. I was like, so what does your list include? It includes the debut of the
CM
Wyatt
Punk
6,
dying.
CM Punk getting murdered by Drew McIntyre on SmackDown, and the whole entire, cinematic pre-tape promo of the System visiting the Matt Hardy compound and all the shenanigans that went on with that. I gotta
Anything
send
to
you.
do with R-Truth.
Oh, and anything to do with R-Truth. R-Truth is a national treasure, but this was amazing. This was awesome. Yeah. And I love that commentary was like, nothing against Wade and Corey, but like they knew there's like, we're not going to say much of anything as this whole thing goes on. I was just like,
yes! Didn't need to.
The insane thing, Wade Barrett got fined for the stuff he said about CM Punk at the end of Clash of the Castle.
Really?
He got fined for it. Paul Levesque fined him for it.
Why? What did he say? Did I miss it?
I think Wade Barrett. I think it's like kayfabe fined him, but Wade went off on CM Punk's screw.
Oh,
Drew.
I was like, there's nothing he said there that was. Dude, it's just.
I just saw that like Paul Levesque fined him, and I was like, oh shit.
That's funny.
We're playing into this. We loved it, but this was beautiful cinema, and it even kind of played into what happened with Wex because we see, CM Punk getting carted into the ambulance, and we cut back into the ring. Carmelo Hayes is watching a murder happen on on the Titantron because he's watching this whole thing.
He
doesn't get an entrance.
He's just watching CM Punk die.
Like Carmelo Hayes has lots of things going on right now. He's witnessing CM Punk get the ambulance. They all witness a murder, and then he has to immediately look as Tama Tonga makes his entrance. He's like, the Samoan's about to kill me.
Tama Tonga and Randy Orton.
But we get our first men's Money in the Bank qualifying match next. Carmelo Hayes versus Tama Tonga versus Randy Orton. Carmelo Hayes is like, well-ish.
And that's what I thought. I went, well, it's not you. You're here to eat a pin. And what a beautiful, beautiful bait and switch this was.
Oh, yeah. I love the whole dichotomy of this match of Randy Orton is getting tired of the two heels beating each other up.
Randy is just like...
I don't forget how big Randy Orton is. I realize how big Randy Orton is at 6'5", almost 6'6", when he walks in there. My God,
always been so tall, but he used to be so
right.
skinny.
He used to have kind of
then he got old and
TRT, man.
Like the SpongeBob.
Once you qualify for TRT after you're 34, you could get huge.
It's like the SpongeBob inflatable arms.
That's what I thought when he came back at Survivor Series. I was like, I don't remember his chest ever being this big.
He was not this defined.
His tattoos never looked these stretched out before.
Dude's
his
just
back
bigger. Is just remarkable. Like this dude's.
And the thing is, people forget how actually good of a wrestler Randy Orton is. Dude is so good.
The double DDT thing off the rope, gorgeous every time. I thought he killed Carmelo Hayes doing that avalanche, whatever, off the top rope suplex things. Like, that.
I was like, he died.
The sound that made was like, did you break the ring? Like, what just happened here? Incredible. This match was so much fun to watch. And knowing wrestling, I sat there the whole time going, oh, I know the ending. I know what's going to happen. I wonder what's going to happen. I wonder how we're going to get there. I wonder what it's going to... And then I had to rewatch it.
Because... Randy goes to pin Tongue, and then Carmelo Hayes gets involved, and he ends up getting the pin and is smart enough to roll out of the ring.
He pinned Randy.
That's the whole thing, too. Carmelo pinned Randy.
Randy Orton. Not Tama Tonga, who's already knocked out. He pinned Randy Orton. So he now has a win over Randy.
Clean, held him by the leg straight down,
no tights,
and
no nothing,
Randy ate it. Shocked, fine, but so happy for Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah, so Carmelo Hayes is joining Mr. Jey Uso, Mr. Money in the Bank.
The two of them already. I'm like, oh, that's gonna be. Oof.
It's getting crazy. So we have Jay and we have Carmelo Hayes in this match. And then on the women's side right now, we have Io, and then we have Chelsea Green. So
Say it right.
Chelsea Green.
Thank you.
I loved when Samantha did that. Is fantastic. So fantastic men's qualifier. We get a recap of the debut of the Wyatt 6 on Monday Night Raw. I love that throughout this whole entire night, because of the Bloodline and the Wyatt 6, there was way too much security backstage, which was kind of a nice little touch. They're like, yeah, we're not about to get jumped like Raw did. They're like,
Oh,
no.
so the funny thing is, I just saw, so they reported that the only actual talent that got beat up
Was
during
Chad.
the Wyatt Six was Chad Gable.
I thought so. Like
Everybody else was
when
just
you
extras.
watch it, you're like, oh, it's Chad. Okay.
It's just Chad Gable.
But everyone was speculating, be like, Carmelo Hayes got jumped, Gunther got jumped. I'm like, Gunther is not about to get jumped.
No.
Like, calm down.
What it kind of sucked for me though is the fact they're not milking it. They just said Chad Gable's wrestling next week.
I know they didn't even let it breathe. That's the only
Oh,
downside.
he's cleared.
He's cleared. All right, fine. I wonder if he's gonna get PTSD.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is now they're gonna haunt Chad Gable, and which he's the perfect one to haunt and scare, right? Because he's the stoic athlete. I'm not afraid of anything. And now you're gonna have,
and you know, we just got Otis and the rest of the Alpha Academy to finally break away from him.
So now you're all alone, and here
first
comes the
official
nightmare.
feud is the Wyatt Six versus Alpha Academy 2.0 with the.
So
Creed
I don't want
Brothers.
to take up too much time, but no one knows exactly who the Wyatt family is, right? It's still under speculation on who some of these characters and masked people are.
No, we know.
We
know
do
who they
know
are.
exactly who they are.
Well, we know 5 of the 6. I still think the 6th member is when she's ready to come back. I think the 6th member is going to be Alexa Bliss.
Okay.
Then they're gonna get Braun Strowman to come back.
That's also another thing too. But the Wyatt 6 so far is Uncle Howdy is Bo
Right.
Dallas, like that's a given. Then you have Huskers the Pig is Joe Gacy from NXT.
Okay.
Sister Abigail is Nikki Cross. Is it Buzzard the Vulture? I think
I think so, yeah.
is Dexter Loomis.
Okay.
And
Then you have
Rabbit.
Rambling Rabbit, which is Eric Redbeard, whichever moniker they're going to use in WWE. And then I think the final 6th member, which we don't know who it is, I think it's going to be Alexa when she comes back.
See.
Or Braun, one of the two. But I think Alexa would be great.
Cool. Very cool. Because I watched a video, and which was a mistake, because they were like, who are they? Let's talk about it. It could be. And I'm like, wait, don't we know who they are?
Also, a fan got the picture with them demasked at a Whataburger after.
like hours after the big scary debut, and they're just chilling
That's
in a water.
rad.
They're just chilling, eating a
That's
Whataburger.
fantastic.
Also,
I hope they get Eric Rowan more involved because he's the only surviving member.
He's
of
the only
original.
surviving member of the original Wyatt family because Brody Lee and Bray Wyatt are gone.
Wow. That's crazy to think about.
It is crazy. Also, as a side note, if you haven't watched it yet, WWE did another tattoo special with, the superstar, and this time around it's Shotzi who explains the meaning of some of her tattoos, which we stand Shotzi in this household.
Oh, I saw that on Instagram. She has the Bray Wyatt moth, which was super
yeah,
cute.
so go check that out on YouTube, but we're going to go on because after we got
Speedy
this
recovery.
recap-
Come back soon, Shotzi.
Yes, please. So after the debut of the Wyatt 6, we get this in-ring promo for Mr. L.A. Knight. Yeah. Again, he is still going after Logan Paul after the B&E that was last week.
L.A. home invader.
He is two for two when it comes from home invasion angles. Like he did it with AJ, and now he's doing it with Logan Paul. But instead of like wanting to kill AJ, he just chilled. He just chilled in Logan's pool, which was fantastic.
And drop the. Hey, what's your policy on peeing in the pools? I gotta go.
My God,
I just saw that. I watched
That
it
was
the other
funny
day. It was
last
hilarious.
week, and then this in-ring promo is just like, dude, like you're not here. I'm gonna come after you. We're gonna continue this song and dance, and but now I'm gonna focus on Money in the Bank. And then he gets interrupted by Santos Escobar of all people.
He broke the rule. He didn't get called out. Why he out here? Do I need to go Kevin Owens and go nuts?
So then we get a short exchange before Logan does what he does best, and he jumps LA Knight from behind and knocks him out with a knockout punch. And we get confirmation that one of the men's qualifiers for next week is LA Knight, Logan Paul, and Santos Escobar. And I'm just sitting here. I'm like, I think Santos is winning this one. I'm just
this match has got to hopefully be.
This
gotta
needs to
hold
be the
this thing off
stepping
until
stone.
SummerSlam.
Yeah,
Well, this got to be SummerSlam.
Something's got like, who knows? I'm still thinking that this match between LA Knight and Logan is going to be at SummerSlam, but who knows? WWE can do it sooner or later than that, but I feel like SummerSlam is the perfect time to allow LA Knight to hold the United States Championship. This was an okay in-ring
I thought
promo.
this was okay. Santos came out looking like an early 90s R&B singer, which is fine. I'm not judging. He had that cool,
Came out like
I was waiting for him to be the announcer of Hip Hop Helicopter and LPD. If anybody who watches the Proud Family, comes out with the white shirts and then does the dance.
Oh man, I'm not judging too much, but I know where in Chicago he got that jacket. I didn't hate this. I think LA Knight kind of held it up for both of them. I think Santos was a little surprised by, hey, you're doing a promo. I'm like, wait, what? Okay, give me something. Throws on the coat. The audience kind of gave away the ghost in Logan Paul running down to the ring, which was fine. But I love that LA Knight held the camera angles so that you just see this flying Logan Paul and bam. And I've said this plenty of times.
Dude, he got there. I saw the backstage footage. He got to that ring so quick. Because it shows to him running to Gorilla and then it cuts the camera and it's just like, boom, he's behind him. I'm like, damn, Logan's fast.
Dude's flying. And the crowd just had enough time to react to where I was like, I think something's happened. Boom, and then he appeared. I've said this a lot of times. I don't like Logan Paul's person. He's driven me nuts for years. But I absolutely respect what he's doing and how he's doing what he's doing. And I think you're right, which is why I think they're going to do this wrong. They should be getting a title on LA Knight within the next few months. SummerSlam is the perfect time to do it. Logan Paul, Prime, sponsoring things. I think they're going to let him hang on to that title as long as whatever contract they've decided, which is heartbreaking and sad, and money being thrown around and messing with people's careers. It's been too long. LA Knight has not had a title ever, I guess, not since NXT and other promotions, correct? He had, I think, Impact, and then someplace else he had a title, but hasn't had one in WWE.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't even say it in NXT because he had him and Cameron Grimes were feuding over the $1 Million Man's championships.
That's what we talked about.
I don't even count that as a real championship, but yeah, when LA Knight was in NXT, he never held a title in NXT.
They've gone so, and I get it. It's only been 2 years that he's been on this run. Fine, they've milked it to get folks. Fine, they've got him his money. Fine, give him the title. You gave it to Austin Theory.
Let LA Knight hold this United States Championship.
I think they're gonna milk it. They're gonna get Logan Paul has the money and Prime and everything else in there, so they're gonna let this simmer as long as possible. I think the right answer is SummerSlam. Like, that's your moment.
Maybe. But you know what? This new regime has been surprising me the last couple of weeks of like who they allow to win and like get all the people getting on shows and things like that. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to wait and see. As long as the story build for this is going to be fun, like I'm cool with this either way. So we're going to wait. I hope LA Knight. The right answer is LA Knight wins at SummerSlam. But you know what? I'm going to wait until we get to SummerSlam because we got to get through Money in the Bank first because that also changes the landscape of things too. Which is what happens next because we get our second men's qualifying match for Money in the Bank. This time we have Grayson Waller versus Andrade and Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is already at a disadvantage because he gets jumped as he makes his way into the match. Randy Orton almost took out one of the Tonga twins with that chair swing. He's like, you see him duck and like run like he owes Randy Orton lunch. And he's like, oh no, I'm getting the heck out of Dodge on this one.
Like the previous other matches of the evening, you saw this on paper and went, oh, you're there to take the pin, you're there to do this and this, and you're there for this arc. Okay, fine.
For the second time in the same night.
I'm so glad.
Third time.
Third time. 3 times in a row. I was like, okay, so this one they're going to do the thing that we obviously know they're going to do. And then I switched it. I went, oh, Kevin Owens getting jumped before we start. That's a reason for him to lose. Oh, so it's obviously going to be this storyline because they're doing this, that. I'm so glad I was wrong twice in 5 minutes. So great.
This was another great match, honestly.
Andrade has been showing out since he got back here.
I love the way he won the match, catching Grayson Waller's.
Oh, that was so
clean.
So good.
Grayson Waller really needs to change his finisher, by the way. He always gets be getting caught.
I was gonna ask, isn't it like the 3rd or 4th time where he's like, I got it. Nope.
Yeah.
Something happens.
But I feel like that's part of his gimmick. But yeah, the way that Andrade caught Grayson Waller and hit the finisher, that was so clean.
And
he has probably my favorite spot in wrestling right now, and that's that fake big boot into the back elbow.
Oh,
yes.
I love that spot so much.
That thing hits hard, too. You hear it every time he hits that back elbow.
I think the fact that Andrade can be a badass in bright white pants is still remarkable to me. Like,
I was just like, damn. And also,
Mr. Charlotte Flair is...
I know, Charlotte's a very lucky woman. Anyways. Yeah, this is a great match, and Andrade qualifies for Money in the Bank
which is
now.
great. And I hope he's not there to just eat a pin, but that's...
Eat a pin. They don't pin people in Money in the Bank.
Oh, I guess not, huh? You're right.
Or get thrown through ladders. You know those ladders.
I'm just so used.
I can't
That's what
wait to
Carmelo
see-
Hayes is there.
You're right,
That's what
you're right.
Carmelo Hayes is there for, because he's the
Just
young
to get
buck.
mauled and then disappeared.
It's always the young guys that get put through the ladders.
That's
I'm
true.
excited. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, this 3-person spot they had, that was terrifying, and they nailed it.
So good. And so far, let's look at the field for the men right now. We have Jey Uso, Carmelo Hayes, Andrade. Never in my wildest dreams, outside of Jay, did I think I was like, there's gonna be bodies flying around. Like, I'm just trying to figure out. I'm just like, okay, Santos maybe he's probably going to join. Santos, we also know him and Andrade need to go at it. Like, honestly, like, give me all that.
This Money in the Bank's gonna fly. It's gonna
I'm gonna say this again because when they hit the bumpers for what we're getting next week in terms of like matches and the graphics and how I love the aesthetic of the Catch Me If You Can aesthetic that we're going with, like
that cool spy versus spy Cold War kind of look.
Yes.
Yeah, I like it.
It's great. Alrighty, so we go from here. We have a quick backstage segment. Michin is reveling in her loss. She's backstage. And then who shows up? But it's Tiffy time. Tiffany Stratton shows up and just basically, again, is the mean girl. And Michin's ready to throw down with her. And then Nia Jax comes and bodies her through the cable.
Hard too.
Dude, Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, what a team.
That is the team I did not
and
know.
I'm still I don't know how we got here, but we're here. Like,
we
wait,
we
what?
are.
Meaning, what did I say?
Nah, he'll be right back. He has to go
I'm
bring
messing with
something in from outside. But again, Tiffany and Nia is a team that I did not know I wanted until
It's
we got
super
it.
cute.
It is. I mean, Nia has her stuff set in place. She's going to be facing, well, at this point, Bailey at SummerSlam. But Tiffany is involved. Tiffany's got her work cut out for her next week because we have the qualifying match. I believe it's her, Jade, and Naomi. So I'm like, Tiffany's got her work cut out for her.
That's gonna be.
I can't even tell you who is gonna win that one. Like, honestly, I can make a case for any of those three.
Well, and now that they've curveballed us, like, we don't know, and that's
actually, no. It's Naomi, Jade, and Naomi, Jade, and Tiffany, right? And then it's Candice. You know what? Hold up. I'm looking.
I mean, but
this up.
does Tiffany pin Jade? That's huge. Does Jade get Naomi? That's an interesting storyline. Does Naomi go heads up with Tiffany again? Because I think they did that earlier, and then Naomi gets Tiffany, doesn't it? Or does Tiffany get, like...
Okay, no, okay, so I'm glad I saved the pictures. So we talked about the backstage stuff. So we get the bumpers. So we get 3 qualifying matches next week. 1 for the men's and 2 for the women's. So the men's, as we talked about, is LA, Logan Paul, and Santos. So I think Santos might win. Who knows? So we'll see here because I think LA and Paul are going to try to kill each other.
Sure.
And it goes beyond Money in the Bank. And then our first women's qualifying match is Naomi, Blair Davenport, and Indy Hartwell. So I'm just like, I think Blair's going to win. I think Blair should win, honestly. I love Naomi, but I would love to see Blair just destroy people.
Yeah, I think Naomi needs a win. Naomi's kind of gotten hosed a little bit, but we'll see.
We'll see. And then the other women's qualifier is Jade, Candice LeRae, and Tiffany. So, but Tiffany still has her work cut out for her with Jade and Candice.
Those are going to be great matches, though.
Those 3 matches are going to be fantastic. So, all right, kids, strap in because now we're in a main event. So it is Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa. This match goes maybe 7 minutes before we end in a DQ, but that doesn't matter. Like, let's be all the way.
Are we talking about the match or are we talking about what happened?
Let's talk about the match first. Let's talk about the match real quick.
Cody Rhodes kicked the fuck out of Solo Sikoa for like 30 seconds. Then the Tama twins come out. Gorillas of Destiny is what they're called, right? That's such a weird tag team name.
I love New Japan name, but I don't know what the.
I feel like it's just a weird name. It's kind of feels like just one of the random name generator. Click Gorillas of Destiny. That's what we are. Not to talk shit, they're great, but
why would you say that? Why would you try and get on the Samoans' radar like that, Minnie? Why would you make fun of their name?
Because I'm the intrusive thoughts. So 1 or 2.
I will tell you, Andrew. our other co-host Andrew having conversations with him. Yeah, you don't want to get on the Samoan's bad side. Andrew should know because he is part Samoan too. So I would not want to get on Andrew's bad side. Period.
He has an ancient anger within him that the ancestors may awaken, and we will all run in terror.
I work with some Samoans.
As that volcano consumes us all.
But here's the thing: Andrew is the quiet Samoan, and those are the most dangerous Samoans on.
Oh yeah, those
planet.
are the sociopath ones. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, those are the ones. Yeah, But so I saw then KO and Randy come out and start beating everybody up. Then the crowd, then like some of those in the corner,
cowering in fear.
Don't hit me! Don't hit me! And then he drops the most diabolical smile and laugh ever.
And we hear the crowd start like losing their mind. They're like, "Oh boy, what's happening? What's happening?"
And the boy Jacob Fatu super kicks the
Samoan werewolf, as he's known on the independent scene, Jacob Fatu.
He looks fantastic.
He's leaned up so much, and he just destroys Cody, Randy, and KO. Like
he super kicks Randy. He super kicks KO, who stays up, and then Samoan drops him on the steel steps. And that was a brutal Samoan drop that hits the most beautiful splash on the Cody on the announce table.
But then someone kicks him and he just no sells it. Yeah.
It does.
Kicks him in the face, no sells it, and then just lariats him. Like, all of this was just horror movie. Here's the big bad. Game over.
I'm going to say this. I might be getting more Samoan ire for this. This is how Solo Sikoa should have looked with the older blood.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
They should have let him run like this. Evil Murderer Solo. They never did. They always held him back. We talked about this when we were at the peak of the bloodline. Like, let him go. Let him. But now we have Evil Mastermind Solo, which I don't hate.
We had the weekday.
This was. I'll say this now. I ignored our group chat so that nothing gets ruined from SmackDown, because I saw that within a matter of 30 minutes, there were 24 texts.
No, most of them weren't about SmackDown.
They were about CMLL.
In my head, I went, something happened.
But Minnie dropped it.
I'm going to ignore the group text. It got ruined.
I didn't spoil anything.
Minnie didn't spoil it, but he's like, yo, SmackDown just got wild.
It was none of us. It was like Newsweek. It was like some other major Associated Press is what ruined it for me Saturday morning. Something. Jacob Fatu, WWE. It's like, what?
Like,
you're Reuters. Why are you? Wait, did that really happen? And then I went back and watched the.
Well, and the funny thing is, Zilla Fatu then tweeted out something about it, going, "I'm next" or something.
Yo, if Zilla
coming too.
Listen, if Zilla makes his way to WWE, then we have the perfect Bloodline Civil War storyline going on here, because there's also one other Samoan who is running around too, and if they get all of them in there, it's about to be buck wild. And at Survivor Series, I can see the Usos, Roman, and honestly, depending on where they want Jacob, if Jacob goes to their side, because then you have the Gorillas of Destiny Solo, and the real life son of Haku too, Hikuleo from New Japan. Like, can you imagine if that ends up being a thing at Survivor Series? That's got to be where we're going.
Back out there, man. Haku could still murder.
Get me Rikishi.
I've been calling for Rikishi forever. This is what we were talking about. This is what the Bloodline was missing. You want to play Ancestor? You want to do a PowerPoint with your family tree in the background and talk about family because you were in that series of movies? Fine. You can do that. Now bring them all in. All of them. You want to do a tribal chief thing? Yeah, you can't use 4 guys. You got to get the whole tribe involved.
And if they get Sami Zayn involved, because I'm seeing a lot of people saying that Sami should be getting involved with this, please have him drop the IC belt. Don't tie the IC belt up.
I agree with that.
Also, as of 2 hours ago, there's Cody Rhodes is saying that because of the Jacob Fatu attack, he broke 2 ribs.
No,
this better be kayfabe. Cody better not.
I'm hoping he said he dropped it. He dropped it during a live show, during a promo or live show, saying that because of the attack on Jacob Fatu.
So somewhere in here, he broke 2 ribs.
Probably during the splash.
Oh man, I hope this is a work and angle.
I hope it's a work too. But yeah, I'm seeing it now.
Fatu
Cody Rhodes claims he suffered broken ribs.
Hell far. It looks so good. That might have been. Well, it's possible. That's a big man.
That is. I'm hoping it's a
So-
work
hope it's
because
a
I
work.
don't need Cody dropping this title.
Well, cracking them, it's just pain. And it's
Right.
going to take months to heal. If they're broken, like puncture lung broken, then we'll see something shift rather quickly.
No, yeah, I don't think they're that bad. He said WWE even offered to give him time
Right.
off, and he said no.
That's
I think it's a work then. I think so. But even still, Jacob Fatu is out here
The
killing
dude
people
wrestled with
left-
the torn pec in a Hell in a Cell match.
That is also very true.
which
too.
that
Lest
was
we forget
that was
about
my
that.
match of the
That
year.
was
2
gnarly to
years ago.
watch. That was gnarly. And the bloodline with Solo, the Gorillas of Destiny, and Jacob Fatu standing tall with Paul Heyman in the background looking hella terrified as SmackDown goes off the air. My God, what a way to... This SmackDown had great wrestling and the storytelling was so fantastic. I'm just like, WWE won this
Yeah,
week. For
absolutely.
Me, honestly. They knew what they were doing. I was like, yeah, the Clash of the Castle build. I was like, well, all right, Clash of the Castle was fine. And now it's just like, oh shit, SummerSlam's upon us, you guys. This is
the
about to get
building
wild.
blocks for Money in the Bank and SummerSlam
Yes.
have been like super.
They're
good.
simultaneously building to 2 different pay-per-views. I'm like, yo, this is kind of great. Like, holy crap. And they're doing it well, which is crazy to say. I'm
So-
biased. This is great.
it. What's the empanada rating?
See,
Ooh.
9 empanadas.
You're going 9? Tell me
Yeah.
why 9.
I gotta...
I'm going 9 empanadas. This show was fucking
Yeah?
fantastic. 10s are hard because there's no Rhea Ripley, but
I mean, we
Even though
gave
she's-
Raw a 10, but that's because of the Wyatt 6.
yeah, I mean, but that means because we all love Bray Wyatt.
That's also very fair here.
But this was a fucking fantastic SmackDown. I wish, like in all honesty, if Raw was 2 hours long, they would be getting a lot higher ratings. Like this would, but Raw's just 3 fucking hours long, and I'm not sure
Raw
how the
is
hell that.
rough.
I'm not sure how that Lucha dork watches that shit. I watched it last week, and damn.
We're continuing the
I-
feud.
Thank God the White 6 debuted, or I would have been bored by the end. It's just so
Yeah.
long, man.
Yeah, Raw's
2
3
hours
hours.
is great. I'm hoping they switch to 2 hours when they go to Netflix. But yeah, this was a fucking great SmackDown. I'm excited. I'm bought in. I'm excited to see what's going on next week. I'm excited for Money in the Bank. I'm real excited for SummerSlam. This is if they keep doing this, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, this will be my highest rated SmackDown since we've started doing SmackDown here at the Biconics. This is my 9.5. It's damn near
Yes.
perfect for me. I wanted a little bit more here and there. There's one or two things that took me out of it because I'm nitpicky, but this is the highest rated SmackDown I've watched since we've been reviewing it articulately and putting it. The stories, this build never lost momentum. The matches, all of them fantastic. Nitpicky things here and there. The camera shots to make it look like I'm watching a fancy movie or live theater stuff, boom, right there. The Chicago crowd, boom, right there. You have your amazing hero get murdered, and I'm still willing to watch. You have the reveal of someone that we've been waiting for and wondering, and now there's no doubt this is where we're going. Like Minnie said, I'm excited to see where SummerSlam and Survivor Series go. I'm excited to see this Bloodline Civil War that we've been whispering about and talking about for a long time, and they're not pushing it. It could be very easy for them, like they kind of did with The Rock, to be like, oh, we're here. Go, 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 go. Probably because they didn't have a lot of time. But they can let this cook and we can sit here.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to watch this now. And we talked about this at the beginning of the year. A lot of SmackDowns were like, I don't want to watch next week. What am I gonna get?
It's come a long way since the 45-minute Bloodline intro
Right,
promo.
where it was 20 minutes walking to the ring, commercial, 10 minutes sitting in the chair, commercial, five minutes talking about the next match, commercial, and then we move on.
And then SmackDown was over. And we had like 2 matches and SmackDown was over. Yeah, I remember me
We
and John
have
did that one
come
ourselves. That was
a long way from those days
Yeah.
for sure. And oof, I'm going to give the same rating to the SmackDown as the Professor. This was near perfect,
Yeah.
9.5 for me. And the only other thing to get that, well, I mean, I gave Raw a 10, but realistically, I gave Raw like maybe a 9 for
Sure.
reals. The Wyatt 6 really pushed it to the 10, but I'm realistic. The only other thing to be given a 9.5 for me this year is the TNA Hard to Kill pay-per-view from
Mm.
January, because like that was the best, my favorite pay-per-view of the year so far.
I think 9.5 is the highest I've gone. I think there was a Dynamite that was a 9 early in the year.
Mm-hmm.
I gave a 10. I gave WrestleMania Night 2 a 10.
Sure.
That's
okay.
very fair too. The storytelling we got in the main event
And
final match, like honestly,
there were a few.
We put a closure.
There were a few ROHs y'all said were 9s and 10s. So there's a few upper echelon things here and there.
Still don't watch it.
That tiny indie promotion nobody talks about. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that thing.
I'm gonna
Everybody
be honest, though,
in the Biconics talks about but me.
Yeah, it's
two of my promos of the year have come from ROH, so they're doing something right.
There's a lot of good stuff happening in wrestling, but yeah, this SmackDown was fantastic this week,
good.
And like now I definitely looking forward to coming back next week to see, the matches that we're getting next week all look to be fantastic. But I'm interested to see like what's gonna progress with the whole CM Punk homicide, and then this bloodline like bit. I'm like, dang, now I'm excited to come back to SmackDown next week to talk about like what's about to go down next.
It's been a while since we've been genuinely, I'll go watch the SmackDown. We've texted each other. We in the group chat, we're like, do we really gotta watch this one? We gotta review that.
Yeah.
And we roll our eyes.
No, we got to now.
We had the unofficial rule: if this thing was like less than a 5, we're just not.
And Minnie and I stuck to that for a while. I was like, if it's a 2 or 3, we're not reviewing it. If it's a 5, it'll be 30 minutes. We've come a long way since that.
Yeah, SmackDown probably heard this is like, we should probably fix what we're trying to do. And by golly, if this is what
we need to help this small little Biconics people have content.
Triple H, the way Paul Levesque's pulling the strings and pulling creative, I don't know who else is involved. That might be a deep dive I want to take and be like, who is actually doing. What is the reason this shifted so much so in the last 4 months?
It's crazy right now because if WWE for all 3 of their brands continues the way that they've been doing, by the end of the summer, I might say I think WWE won the summer for me, because right now WWE and TNA are kind of like doing awesome work to build toward their big summer pay-per-views. Not to say that giant AEW is not and ROH is not, but they got some work to catch up. But honestly, this summer's going to be busy for us. There's going to be a lot of good things, though. This is a good time to be a wrestling fan. So
the fact that WWE is now full sending the partnership with TNA and letting them come on.
That's the other thing, too.
Now, we just got to send more of our talent to their shows. But, like, Joe Hendry and Frankie Kazarian being on NXT.
Joe Hendry and Frankie Kazarian being at that Battle Royal was nuts.
And then they continued. They built their feud in an NXT show.
That carried over to a TNA show, which has been really fun to watch.
And then we have the Japanese promotion that we're sending AJ to.
Exactly.
And Io is participating in Marigold too. She's about to have a match in the summer too, which is crazy.
I think, and this is for another podcast, and I don't want to talk too much about this. I think we got stuck in this WWE, AEW, and other promotions playing the short game against each other. And finally, there was this shift from, I don't care about the ratings, let's play the long game. Let's start building the long game. And in a few months or in a year, we're going to see this blossom and no one will catch us. And I think that's what's happening. I think it's sort of stuck in the, how do we fight for ratings? We have too many wrestlers, too many shows. And they didn't play the long game. Now they got to shift and figure something out, because WWE, like you said, they could win this summer. They could crush AEW rather quickly if this year continues like that.
Yeah, so...
Or they can all be friends and have awesome Forbidden Door matches.
In a perfect world, that's what I want to see. But, who knows? We'll see, because stranger things have happened within the last year or two when it comes to professional wrestling. But we got to get up on out of here. But thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of the Friday Night Faction Review. I look forward to coming back next week to review this with these gentlemen. But as we said at the top, the summer of Biconics is officially here. It is BC WrestlePod season. We all are about to jump into some really great things this summer that I cannot wait to share soon. But from all of us here at the Friday Night Faction Review and all the hosts of BC WrestlePod, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay Biconic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. We will see you next week for another Friday Night Faction Review. But until then, adios, sayonara, and Billy Stark's outro.
And remember, because I wanted to.
Love it.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's going to happen next time? Well, you're going to have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.